So we're opening up the meeting tonight, Tuesday, March 12th, 2024. Remote meeting, virtual meeting only, no in-person attendance. Pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, this meeting will be conducted via remote means in accordance with applicable law. So the first order of business is 86 South Street condemnation order update.
Sure. Would you like me to go ahead with that?
Tracy, please go ahead.
Okay.
Yep.
This is in relation to when we were out at property at 86 South Street on October 13th in 2023. And then we had this on the board meeting for the board to support our Lauren and I when we were out there to condemn the house. It was uninhabitable. Then we went out January 4th of 2024 and made a list of items that still needed to be completed. And at that time, the waste and trash had all been removed and they had cleaned, but it needed additional cleaning, smoke alarms, and other items that were on the list from before to be completed. So we just went out on March 7th of 2024. And at that time, we were with the building department and the fire department, and everything that was on the list, and you'll see the photos from what we had before, the items had been repaired. So that had broken glass. Those blinds and windows were filthy, and the pictures really don't do this any justice because it's actually very clean. All the window wells, it all had, if you remember from before, there was a lot of debris and insects and other, I'm not sure what, on the blinds and in the windows. So that had all been taken care of, so much so that we thought he had painted, and he hadn't. The bathroom, everything was repaired. The toilet seats, he has hot water. The heat is working. This was the office. So the items that are left are his personal items. But as you can see, the floor, everything's been cleaned. The personal items that are left in the home have also been cleaned. That was something when we went back on March 7th. In January. None of that had really been done. So what he did is hired a cleaning company that is just like a house cleaning company to come in and do a deep clean. This is the living room that I don't know if you recall from the original pictures, you couldn't see anything in here. You couldn't even walk through here. What he has left really are some chairs and some personal things. That dishwasher is not there anymore. He is replacing the one in the kitchen, and so that's all opened up there. And I don't think that other stuff is there from when we were just there yesterday. Those balusters were missing when we were there on our first trip, so those had been replaced. The smoke alarms have all been replaced and operate. The fire department checked all those. This was the bedroom that had a mattress and items on the mattress all over the floor. But you can see you can get into every room. There's nothing is blocking any of the entrances or exits. This is the bathroom on the second floor. The flooring, I'm not sure if I got a good picture of the floor that's outside of there. Oh, I did. That had carpeting the first time that we were there, which we didn't even get up the stairs. We couldn't get up the stairs. When we went in January, it still had like the carpet tacks and remnants of carpeting. So they removed all that, cleaned all of that area. That was just a window from upstairs because it was really clean. So I was trying to get a good picture of that. This was one of the bedrooms upstairs. You couldn't get into this before. This is all that was in that room then when we went back. And this was another bedroom that is upstairs it's the only room that they kept the carpeting in. They had the carpet cleaned and the items were, moved around and they're a little bit better. This is the boiler. So the fire department was fine with that. What he did, he had a handyman actually help him to do a lot of this, is they kind of put some of his personal belongings in a few piles around the basement. And this is a little deceiving. There's actually more space between that boiler and some of the items that he had. The next one. So this is why we went back yesterday, because it looked like a lot of stuff that was maybe moved from one of the rooms upstairs or even around in the basement was just kind of all piled over here. So we wanted to make sure that that was all cleaned out because you couldn't get around really to that other side. So when we went back yesterday, that's what it looks like now. And it's a couple chairs and like a suitcase over there, which is fine. It really was more a matter of the debris that was there and some of the trash. And then if you see, that's what the living room looked like yesterday too. So you can see the dishwasher's out. So he has a few items of his own still left there, but everything that we had asked him to do has been corrected. He put the kick plate on the front door, repaired the broken windows in the house. The heat is up to code. So the hot water, he got a new refrigerator. That's the one photo I forgot to take a picture of, but he did get a brand new refrigerator. And everything else that was on that original list when we went back in January has been completed. Fire department and the building department had no other issues with the home, and Lauren can answer too, but Lauren and I couldn't find any other things that really, I mean, he has some items there that are his own items, and rightly so, because he can have those things, but nothing is causing a health hazard or blocking an egress, so that if he did fall down when he's home, now there's plenty of space in there. There's no trash in there or waste. It's work. So I feel comfortable, and Lauren also are comfortable with removing the condemnation order and allowing him to move back in. So what we just need is the board to take a vote on that to remove it. Then what we do is we would write a letter that says it's been removed, and we would remove the placards off the house. So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's a pretty dramatic change, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, it was, when we went in last week, it was unbelievable, the difference, even from January. Because when we were in January, there was still a lot that needed to be done. The walls, the ceilings, everything needed to be cleaned very well before you could really allow someone to go back in.
So, okay. Anything else, or we can open up for discussion?
No.
Yeah. I guess one question I have, I don't know if the other board members have this, is what's the sense, or how do we know that this won't like gradually accumulate and develop again? I mean,
Well, we don't. I will say that I've contacted the senior center for any sort of elderly services that they can assist him with, and he seems pretty open to that. He actually has been very good about being in contact with Lauren and myself, letting us know, because he would meet the handyman over there, to let him in, and that was something the board allowed at that meeting, was to, he has to let people into his home to repair it. So we talked about that. I had asked about elder services, and apparently they're very short staffed and they don't have a person for Duxbury right now, but the senior center does have services, and they are going, as soon as he is back into his home, then they're able to help him with some of those services. They can't really do much until he's back in his house. Um, I don't know. I mean, it could happen again. But if it meets the housing code right now, I don't see how you can do anything else about it currently.
And so
I think,
just
sorry.
to remind us, like originally, was it the relative of him who came to the board?
So I think, I know. Originally, what happened is he needed medical assistance, and he contacted his ex-wife to help him to get to the hospital for help. And that's kind of how it started. And so they were the one, they hadn't been really in the house, and so they didn't know how bad it had become. And then that's how the whole thing started. And he was in rehab for quite some time, and he is in um it's a rehab facility, correct, Lauren? Yeah.
Yeah.
Currently
Yep.
right now. Yeah. So that's how we found out about it originally. And we did receive complaints from the neighbors about the odors coming from the house, from neighbors across the street. So I don't know how you guarantee it won't happen again. I don't know that there's a way that we can do that. But I think that if he will work with the senior center, they have people that can come and do well checks. They can do Meals on Wheels, so that somebody is coming, hopefully before something would get bad again, if that was to happen.
Yes, would the ex-wife be informed about, the lifting of the condemnation just as protocol for her originally bringing it to the board, or?
Yeah, we can let them know. They are on as a complainant on the complaint form. So every time that we upload photos or the inspection form or make any notes on the permitting system, they're notified. They get an email that shows that what we write or something's been uploaded, so they can see that. But that's something we can let them know that would, with the changing of that. I don't know if they've had contact with him or not. We haven't really talked to him about any of that. So.
So how soon would he be able to move back in?
Tomorrow. I mean, he's paying for this rehab place, since October, really. So if he can move in tomorrow, then he will move as soon as he can. He doesn't have anything really with him to move, just himself.
Uh-huh. There's Bruce and
Yeah.
Melissa. Any other comments, questions?
Yeah.
I just shared I shared the concern, about this happening again, but I don't think there's, this is his house and he's fixed it, and, he has the right to return. So I think we have to, yeah, I mean, that's our purview. It's just to establish whether it's habitable, right? So, yeah.
And I do think that by helping now that the senior center, I do feel like he will let them in now. Before, he wouldn't let anybody in because he's smart enough to know that if he did, we would get involved with that. Now the place is cleaned up. I think that he would be more willing to accept help with certain things. And when we told him, you can get rides to go to your doctor's appointments. You don't have to Uber. You don't, there are services that are free to you that you can use. I think that was helpful and good knowledge for him.
Bruce, anything else?
Well, I'm sorry. I apologize for being late. I think at the end you were talking about some of the things that I was interested in. You know, and essentially it was, how does it not happen again? But I think that you've been through that. It took me a while to get.
So I mean, I guess
it took me a while to get on.
Yeah.
So
I mean, right. So I mean, I guess our purview is really only around the health aspect as it is currently, correct?
Hmm.
Okay. Well, at this point, if there's no other questions, comments, I guess we can entertain a motion.
I move to, oh, Nick, do you have any questions? So you went off mute there for a second. No.
Nope. You beat me to the motion. That was all.
Yeah, so I move to lift the condemnation for the subject property.
I second that.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? I'll just do a roll call. Bruce?
yes, I'm in favor of him getting back in that house.
Nick?
Yes.
And Melissa?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. The motion carries unanimously to lift the condemnation order. Effective today, correct, Tracy?
Yeah.
Or tomorrow?
Yeah. And so we'll let him know, and we'll go out in the morning and remove the placards. So they're so worn out from being on the doors for so long. So they'll probably be easy to get those off. And then, we'll strongly suggest, and we can always check in with him too. I mean, he emails us back all the time, so we can just check in and make sure that he's getting help if he needs it, or if he wants us to help him with the senior center or any other services to do that.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Laura and Tracy. I think you all have been very helpful in this, and you're indicating you'll continue to be.
Yeah. He's a very nice man. It's just, I'll tell you, if any of you walked in from one time till now, you wouldn't believe it. So
That's
I was
great.
impressed with how much he actually did. So, well, we don't want him to go back to that. So hopefully we can get him help with that.
Yeah, the pictures are
Thank you.
pretty telling,
Right
I
on.
would say.
Great. All right.
Okay. That's the
Before we
only item on
adjourn,
the agenda. Yep. Sorry, go ahead.
before we adjourn, we just wanted to kind of remind you, we're going to be on the select board meeting Monday night, the 18th. And hopefully we could get a quorum for the Board of Health as well to approve and sign the IMA for our Public Health Excellence Grant Group. And we'll have a presentation as well. So if anybody could make it, that would be great. And I'll send you the link because they are hybrid. So in person or Zoom. It shouldn't take very long. It's kind of a short presentation.
You said that was
Thank you.
Monday the 18th?
Yes, at 7.
And what was it? I'm sorry, I missed this, got some static. What was the presentation for again?
So we're part of the Public Health Excellence Grant Committee with 5 other towns. And the state's requiring us to sign an IMA, intermunicipal agreement, just to keep all of the towns protected when there's shared services employees working. And it has to be voted on and signed by the Board of Health and the Select Board.
Kind of similar to like what fire department and police departments do for each of the communities.
And we did have town council go through it to protect the best interests of the town. So we feel confident that our biggest piece was, you know, if and when the state runs out of funding, we don't want to be on the hook to keep this going, because that sort of takes away the whole purpose of it.
So you'll be sending out an email on this?
Yes, and I'll send there's a short PowerPoint that sort of just explains everything. Once Nancy O'Connor posts the agenda, I'll send it out probably Thursday.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
All right, I'll make
Move
a
to
motion to
adjourn.
adjourn.
We have a second?
I'll
If
second
it
it,
wasn't me,
but
I goes, yeah.
but I feel like I
Okay.
shouldn't be one of somebody that's suggesting this.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, we'll just do voice at this point. Say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, thank you all. Motion carries, meeting adjourned. Thanks for all your help.